Yes, we are live. It's Tuesday live, and today we're dealing with difficult behavior in children. My name is Wendy Ologa, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. We're going to be talking about dealing with difficult behavior in children. Are you set? Are you ready? Let me know if you are. Thank you for joining me. Sorry, give me a minute. Alrighty. Yes. Hi, everyone. See you, Sharon. I see you, Blessing. Are you ready to hear how to deal with difficult behavior in children? My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy, and it's our Tuesday Life. We're here every Tuesday teaching on how to deal with teaching on different topics in parenting. And today we're talking about how to deal with difficult behavior in children. And one of the things when it comes to parenting, I always tell parents that assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. Thinking and believing that you need to mold your children into one perfect being is one of the most mistakes you want to make, because there's no such thing as a perfect child. Believe me when I tell you that there's no child that doesn't misbehave. Now, but there are difficult behaviors. There are some behaviors in a child that actually gets you to the point where you are struggling. Now, many of the times, handling difficult behaviors, a lot of parents actually will handle it with a lot of this, a lot of difficulty, because you do not know exactly what it is that you need to do. The moment you don't know, you lack knowledge, you don't know exactly how to apply what it is that you're learning. Trust me, it's usually very difficult. So some behaviors usually are not necessarily difficult, but because we lack the appropriate knowledge to apply per time, it makes it really very much pretty difficult. Now, when we talk about difficult behavior, when your child misbehaves or acts out, there are reasons for it. A lot of parents will say, oh, there are reasons for, misbehaving and all of that. How can that be true? Yes, your child misbehaved for reasons. Now, all of these things I'm going to share with you would eventually can become difficult if they are not dealt with. Every single thing I'm going to share with you why your child is misbehaving can eventually become a difficult situation, a difficult behavior, if they are not well handled. Number one, your child misbehaves or acts out because, number one, they are lost. They don't understand what is wrong with them. They are afraid. That's why your child lies. Your child can lie because they are afraid. Your child can bicker because they are afraid. Your child becomes heady because they are afraid. They need guidance because they don't know. That's number three. Number one, they are lost. Number two, they are afraid. Number three, they need guidance. And because they don't know how to ask for it, they do it the way they know better. For children, negative attention is better than no attention at all. Can somebody help me write that in the comment section? Negative attention for a child is better than no attention at all. So your child would rather put up a negative behavior to get your attention than have no attention at all, because attention is food for a child. Okay, sorry, I think something went up. All right, thank you. Okay, I wanted to be sure that my system was plugged to power, so it was low. Okay, so negative attention is better than no attention at all. So if you are thinking that, because you know that your child, because you are not around for a long time, can put up a negative attention behavior and become so difficult. I have seen difficult teenagers, all right? And when we get to the roots of the issue, we find out that the problem simply is because they do not have attention of either maybe the mother or the father, and it escalates. Unfortunately, many parents do not even know that attention is that important to a child. So a child will rather put up a negative behavior to get your attention than get no attention at all. So they're seeking attention. They need you to reassure them that you're with them. Now, misbehaviors can push your parental buttons, trust me. And you can only remain calm if you have the right skills and the required knowledge. If you don't equip yourself with those required skills, you will make a mess, because a misbehaving child isn't a listening child. Help me write that in the comment section. A misbehaving child isn't a listening child. So you need skills. So when parents come to me and say, my child, I'm having difficulty, all right? I'm having difficulty dealing with my child. What do? The first thing I tell them is, you need to go and acquire skills to deal with this misbehavior. So many parents think that when you use brute force, you know what it means. All the buzzwords, right? All the beating a child, all the, trying to, jump and trying to make the child feel that you are in charge and all of that. When you do that, there are actually 4 R's to negative discipline. So even with a difficult behavior, there are 4 R's to negative discipline. Inner circle parents, are you here? Let me see you name the 4 R's of negative discipline. All right? I'm going to wait for you. 4 R's of negative discipline. Let me see you guys. 4 R's of negative discipline. 4 R's of negative discipline. I remember one time a child came to me to tell me that a parent came to me that the parent had been lying. And this parent, is in the academy, lies, steals, and all of that. And it was such a difficult time for them. I remember talking to her and I said to her, there is no magic that is going to make this stop. You need to do the work. Many of the times when we encounter, difficult behaviors. Yes, I see in as a parent. The 4 R's of negative discipline: resentment, rebellion, retreat, or revenge. Now, when you discipline your children wrongly, it turns to 4 things. It ends up to become 4 things. That's what the 4 things that will happen eventually. They will either rebel against that wrong disciplining measure. They would either resent you. That's why you see a child say, what they did to me, I will never forget it. They will resent you. I saw a movie, somebody pointed me out to. It was called Man of God, a Nigerian movie or something. I can't remember. But I remember that in that movie, the boy was bent on doing back to his parents because he just resented them because of the way they disciplined him. Another one that can happen is that your child will retreat. I think this is one of the worst of them all. One of the worst is the retreat. Now, when children retreat, people think that children have actually reached, that they've solved the problem. So this thing I'm sharing with you is in my book, The Discipline That Works. I want to be sure. Hold on. Let me be sure that I have a copy here. All right, great. Yes, this is, I'm actually sharing from here. All right. The Discipline That Works. This 4 hours. And one of the things that I usually see happen to quite a number of parents is that when the children retreat, you actually tell yourself, I have won. Parents come to me and say, since I started flogging him, he doesn't do that again. He does not lie again and all of that. I smile. The fact that your child quit a misbehavior because you used a negative discipline does not necessarily mean that your child is actually, have gotten it correct. So your child can retreat so that they won't get into trouble and they will be able to just take it away from you. You might not be seeing it anymore, but it will still be there. So when you say, oh, I have done this and this doesn't happen, are you sure that the child is not just retreating? Are you sure that you have just not made the child afraid? Now, the other one, revenge. I have seen children who have said, I'm going to revenge. I'm going to do back. Now, even when children don't want to revenge, let me tell you what happens. When they become adults, they actually revenge. whether you like it or not. I will give you very vivid examples. Now, the other time I have told the story of when I was in the hospital and I saw this particular young man dragging his father who had a stroke. And you could see the way he spoke to the father. Will you stand up? Are you the only one? Please stand up. Let's move. He was visibly irritated. What do you think has happened there? The child is revenging. The child must have been treated the same way, and he thinks that that's the same way I should also treat this person back. It's not because the child doesn't know that that way is correct or is wrong, but that is what the program gives the child. So this young man, yet an adult, is revenging. Some of you listening to me, your parents call you and you scream at them, you yell at them back. What happened? You are revenging without even knowing that you're revenging. So when people tell me they did it to us, we turned out okay. Many times I ask the question, are we really okay? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Are we really okay? So most of the times, this negative behavior, this negative, discipline actually results to retreat, rebellion, resentment, and revenge. And yet we sit in our houses, we tell ourselves that, oh, the child is being corrected, the child is walking and all of that. Many times it's actually not. Sometimes the child is just powerless and can't do nothing. So when your child has a negative behavior, is battling with negative behavior, the question will be, how do we even begin to, how do we react? What do we do? A child who is defiant, right? A child who is defiant needs to connect with you and find their way back to calm. Your child is not defiant because they are bad. Your child is defiant because they're still learning and they are growing. There are no bad children. There are only parents who lack the required knowledge on how to help their children. So if your child is struggling with a behavior, it's because you don't know what to do. If you know what to do, you will know how to sort it out. This is very important. Let me say it again. There are no bad children. Help me write that. There are only parents who lack the required knowledge on how to help their children. So if your child is struggling with misbehaviors, it is because you don't know what else to do. And many of the times you resort, all right? Many of the times what happens is that you resort to, hitting, beating, and all the frustration that comes with it. This is very, very important to note. Please, no child is bad. Even that your child that you're saying, this child is always stealing, he's always doing, he's always defining, there is no bad child. If you know how to deal with it, the child will come out of the mess in an amazing way. By the way, while you're dealing with the mess, you want to also understand that there are ways to actually deal with this mess. Thank you so much, Faithful. There are no bad children. The only parents who lack the required knowledge to help their children out of a mess. And you hear me say all of the time, parenting is in the mess. If you're not ready to do the mess, you're not ready to be a parent. Because there's going to be mess upon mess upon mess upon mess. Mistakes, mess. So your child is not necessarily the problem. Your problem is you knowing what it is that you're going to do. And unfortunately, these things don't come in the same degree. The fact that your first child didn't have the same issue does not mean that your second child wouldn't have an issue. In fact, the fact that your first child battled with the same issue and you handled it a certain way does not mean that that same method is going to work for that child. You know why? Because you're raising different people who learn differently, who are, wired differently. Yesterday, we did a webinar on who am I parenting for parents in the inner circle. By the way, you're listening to me, you're not in the inner circle, you have not booked for the inner circle. You're on your own. No. There are a lot of things that you would need to know. Parenting today has gone past intuition, have gone past experiences. You need to actually find what is that thing put together, knowledge that works in this time. There is nothing that works. There is nothing that works in life that does not work by principles, parenting inclusive. Inaction in itself is the action of people who are ignorant of the things that is required to deliver the child who we deliver in the 21st century. So parents tell me, you don't need to really do anything. All these things are doing now. That's already a way to failure. Not having to do anything. There is nothing that works that does not work with principles. Parenting inclusive. So parenting is in the mess. There was a trend that I responded to. That should be yesterday. Where someone was talking about how the child messed up and how the father helped him, and then he's better and all of that. It's on my timeline. You can go and follow the conversation. But one of the things that I said in my response is that parenting is in the mess. However, even in that mess, you must learn how not to bail out your children out of bail them into responsibility. Because you can bail them, all right? You can bail them into irresponsibility. You can bail them into irresponsibility while you're at it. This is very, very important. All right? Do not forget that your children are never perfect. There are no bad children. If you have a child who is misbehaving, you need to realize that the child is not the problem. Anytime I see a child struggling, I see a parent who is ignorant. Anytime I see a child struggling, I see a parent who is ignorant. Anytime I see a child struggling, I am feeling for the child. And I'm seeing a parent who is totally ignorant of what it is that they need to do. So if your child is battling with, let's say, the chronic lying, your child is battling with, let's say, being very defiant, the problem is not necessarily the child. If you're going to deal with that issue, it's you. How you deal with that mess, that is going to be how that child will come out of it. That is going to be how that child will come out of it. It's how you deal with it. So you can make or mar a child in the mess. So if you do not have the characteristics, you don't have the skill, if you do not have the skill to be able to pull your child out of the mess without messing them up, you will make a mess of your child. So it's not just saying, I want to pull my child out of the mess. No, it's beyond that. You know how muddy the mess can be? Just think of a mud. You put yourself inside the mud. Think of a drowning child who is in a pool. All right? Who is in a pool? And then we are all in the pool swimming and the child begins to drown. If you can't swim, you can't help your child. Come on. You can't. Your child is going to die inside the pool. Just look at this analogy with your child who is misbehaving. Your child is going to struggle and continue to struggle in the pool because you do not have the required skill to actually be in the pool to save your child. Literally speaking, I learned how to swim 5 years ago because I thought of it. If something happened, that was when the twins were learning how to swim. And if something happens to my child and my child begins to drown, what am I going to do? Am I going to leave my child to drown? Of course, I'm very hydrophobic. That's also one of the reasons my husband and I hired a swim coach. We learned how to swim because for us to save our children in the pool, we need to know how to swim. There is no two ways about it. Dear parents, if you do not know how to swim, you can't save a drowning person. So your child is drowning in that misbehavior. You don't run to come and get the required knowledge to use to help your child become better. Your child will drown in the mud. So the point is, there are skills to be able to pull your child out of the mud. If not, you will be in the mud. So imagine you going to save your child in that pool. Imagine you. Imagine what happens. You drown, your child will drown. And that's what I see in parenting today. Many children are drowning in the pool, and their parents are also drowning with them because they can't swim. So you can't save a drowning child. So it's the same thing, and it's the same thing I see. So when you now go into that mess to pull your child out, because you do not have the skills, you will drown with your child, and you will make a mess of the process. There are parenting mistakes you make that leaves a scar on you and your child for life. No matter how much you want to get them out of the mess, it leaves a scar forever. That's why knowledge is non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. One of the things you need to understand is that discipline is something that is thoughtful. It's thoughtful. Now let's move. What are the things that you need to do? Often is because, children with difficult behavioral problems, sometimes it's even because they're farsighted. Sometimes they have a problem. If problem behavior is causing you or your child upsetting your family, it's important that you deal with it. Let me also say that letting a difficult behavior to slide changes nothing. So all the people that says, oh, time is going to make it go away. Oh, because my child is a toddler. By the time my child is a toddler, he becomes a preteen. All those things we fizzle out. They lied to you. They lied to you. It's going to show up. Any misbehavior you don't deal with in your child as a toddler will show up later on in life. Quote me anywhere. Quote me anywhere. So you don't deal with it here, all right? You don't deal with it. Your child is 1. At the time your child is 1, you're not dealing with it. They will outgrow it. I hear a lot of parents say all those nonsense. When your child is 13, a fool at 40 didn't become a fool at 40. He was a fool at 14. He was a fool at 14. So it is important that you begin to look at yourself and ask yourself, what are the things that my child is dealing with now? And I'm just telling myself, hey, they're just children. Some people tell me, they are just children. They'll just be okay. You must learn how to deal with the misbehavior without messing your child up. You must learn how to deal with parenting messes without messing the life of a child up. It will grow. It doesn't fizzle out. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. And it's important that you know this. And any time that you're going to handle a difficult behavior, one of the things, you must learn is to ask yourself, what do you have to do that is right for the child, that is right for yourself, and that is right for the family? And, the truth of the matter is, asking yourself what is right for the child is understanding who the child is. That's the first place to handling difficult behavior. So you need to ask yourself, this child now, who is this child? Some people come and tell me, I have this, my son. Ebuka was not like that when Ebuka was young. In fact, since I had Chukwuemeka, it's been, and somebody will say, Tolu was such a good girl. Since the brother, Ayo has come. In fact, Ayo does not give us sleepless nights. You see those comparisons? That's the first thing you need to throw out of the window. Because it will do you no good. Because if you sit and you do not understand who you're parenting, that's the first disaster. That's the first parenting disaster. You can't deal with a misbehavior without understanding who and why. Who is this child? Yesterday, I was teaching the parents, about the courageous child, the creative child. If you're dealing with a courageous child and a creative child, there are different aspects. Are you asking yourself, this child, if I talk to this child, is it this talking that's going to really be effective. So you see that your comparison. When Chukwuebuka was 5, he never showed this kind of behavior. Throw it out of the window. Is your greatest undoing. It's your greatest undoing. First of all, tell yourself, my child is unique. And I'm going to find out what it is about this child and why this child sees life the way they see it. We always think that life is green and white and black. There's gray, there's yellow, there's green in between. So your children are going to exhibit all of that. Number 2, you need to learn not to overreact. This can be really difficult. When your child is putting up with a lot of, difficult situations, you're one of the two emotions that build up: anger and frustration. Most times, it's almost impossible not to show your irritation. Almost impossible. The only thing that can hold you up is knowing what to do. So when you show your frustration and show that you are irritated, trust me, you are being human. But unfortunately, that doesn't solve the problem. That's the flip side of it. So if you're going to be dealing with difficult behaviors in children, you want to ask yourself, all right? You want to ask yourself, what can I do better in this time? Another thing that you want to do to deal with difficult behavior, remember we're talking about very difficult behaviors that you have dealt with before and you are not able to deal with it, all right? Apply the initial pause and calm. Now, if it is real work, because you have to think, how do I respond to this? The power of initial nothing is the road to calmer responses for you, and that's where you get the emotional responsible child. Let me say that again. The power, all right? The power of initial nothing, that's what I call it. Initial nothing is the road to calmer responses from you, and that's where you get an emotionally responsible child. It's not a fluke. An emotionally responsible child is not a fluke. It is something that you actually, teach, and you teach it by how you respond. So the power of initial nothing, say nothing. Your ability to master calmness will be a determining factor for a lot of the things for your child. While you're pausing in that initial nothing, ask yourself, what guidance can I offer my child at this point? How can we both turn this time around to become more positive? Initial nothing. Initial nothing. Discipline is not an emergency. If you make discipline an emergency, you make a mess of your disciplinary process. This month we're doing the from yelling to calm webinar, and trust me, that's a webinar you do not want to miss, because one of the things that I learned on my parenting journey was how to become a calmer parent. This initial nothing part, I learned it and I taught it. It helped. It saved my soul. It saved my soul. It saved my soul. That's the word. You see all this crack. I must say it. What is it not my child? Some people even tell me it's my child. I will do what I want. You make a mess. You raise children who resent and who revenge, like we see today in our generation. Most of you are revenging. Most of you are revenging and resenting your parents. Not because you don't know that they love you, but because the disciplinary method messed you up. It messed you up. You should register for the No Yelling Challenge. This year's No Yelling Challenge is going to be a whole lot different. Trust me. A whole lot different, and it's going to come with a whole lot of, insight. And it is so key that you begin to ask yourself, do I have these skills? See, most of you come to me and say, Oh, coach, my child has done this. I even see a parent who do not have the skill to deal with the problem that is presented to them. Unfortunately. Do my children make mistakes? Yes. Do they make messes? Yes. I told the story to the parents in the academy, how my daughter, got into trouble in school. And, while in that trouble, one of the things that my husband and I did, when the teacher called us and expected us to just rant, just jump up and down and all of that, we got to school and we're like, so what happened? We called our daughter and we said, what happened? And we said, "Nee, you know that this is how you need to handle this thing, in this way, that way." And one of the things we told her was, we expected you to know how to handle situations like this. And she said to us, Mom, I know that it's disappointing, but I'm going to fix this. And I tell you, 2 weeks later, the same teacher had called us to say, please, what did you people do to your daughter? And he said to us, I want to confess. The first time you guys came to school and, were so calm, so peaceful, I was wondering, what's wrong with them? Are they not supposed to, come with fire and fury? And he said, by the time your daughter was done handling this situation, I want to know what you guys did. I've never seen such a thing before. You don't think when you are agitated. You see all those, you're jumping up and down. A child has done something, they call you from school and they say, oh, your child slapped somebody, and you go there. Where have you seen me slapping anybody? You just shout and, all of the aggression. Your children are learning. And if you don't teach yourself what to teach them, you have failed. The real failure in parenting is a parent that is ignorant. That's a real failure in parenting. A parent who do not know how to guide their children from one point to another. That's the real failure in parenting. A parent who can see a problem, and you don't know how to go about it, and you don't have the skills. So there's nothing like failure, really. Failure only happens when you don't know what to do with failure in itself. No, you don't know what to do with failure in itself. That's the only time you fail. But if you know how to convert failure as a tool, like I teach in the inner circle, there's something called failure as a tool in parenting. Failure as a tool in parenting. Because you know what to do exactly with failure. So the real failure is not knowing what to do. Not that something happened. Something will always happen. Something will always go wrong. The question will be, do I have what it takes to be able to really deal with this situation? Remember, you cannot give what you do not have. If you're feeling this session, let me see you. Put a fire emoji into the comment section and let me see you, make sure that you have invited the family and a friend. Remember, we are rolling. Thank you so much for joining me. Do not forget that for you to become that calm parent, you want to begin to learn the skills to become. Don't assume anything. You assume something, you are dead. You are gone. Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. When you assume you don't know, and that will kill your child. Remember what I said about the pool. If you do not know how to swim, if your child is in the water drowning, you can't save your child. Many of you are listening to me today. You can't save your child because you do not have the skill to save the child from that particular misbehavior. You guys with me? Number 2, you need to believe that your child can do better. There is something I call self-fulfilling prophecies. The parents in the inner circle must have heard me say it. Self-fulfilling prophecies. You need to be careful what you say in the face of misbehaviors. Cursing your child out when they misbehave is a sign of lack of emotions control. It's a sign of lack of somebody who do not understand that is a destiny molder. It's a sign of someone who have no control over what it is that they say. Nothing. When out of anger you say words to your child, do you know that they become self-fulfilling prophecies no matter your spiritual inclination? If you want, be a fire, this thing, fire brigade, whatever. Whatever it is that you want to be, trust me, self-fulfilling prophecies are real. Self-fulfilling prophecies are real. So if your child, you do not believe it in your head that this thing is a phase, okay, I am going to help my child through this phase, and I believe that my child can do better. When my children misbehave, the first thing I tell them is, I know you can do better than this. That's the first word that come out of the mouth of my husband and I. I know, I believe that with what you know, you can do better than this. And our children will say, yes, we can. That's usually the response. And the moment that is said, it is so obvious that they know exactly what it is that they need to do. You need to ask yourself, self-fulfilling prophecies. Am I fulfilling prophecies by what it is that I'm saying? If you want, pray from now till, the Bible said you will get what you say, not what you pray. I don't want to enter this realm. You will get what you say. It is not about what you pray. Watch what you say to your child, especially in the phase where your child is misbehaving. You know that time your child has done something, your body just watch it. And unfortunately, it doesn't come to you. It's not an anointing. It's something you must learn. The initial nothing. If you learn to say the initial nothing, you save your life. You save the life of your child. Oh, is it not because the child did something? That's why I spoke to the child like that. You think that that's what it is that they're going to be asked as a caretaker of a destiny? Nobody will ask you that. Go and ask God. He won't. You were angry? What's that? It's your responsibility to actually pick up the skills to learn as a parent. God, that's why you are a co-creator with God. God's part is to create the part that he can do. There are many things God will not do for you. Forget about whatever it is that we all religious people quote. There are many things. If you decide now that you don't want to wear clothes and go out in the morning, that God will wear clothes for you, trust me, God will not wear that clothes. You will go out naked. Likewise, the ability to be calm, it is your choice. That's why you're a co-creator. A co-creator means that there's a responsibility in the creation part for you. It's not God's responsibility to raise a child. It is yours. God is the one. God is the one that actually protects you, parents. Unfortunately, we swapped roles with God. We give God parenting role and we want to protect our children. We pray. We tell them that no, our children cannot go from year to year. You want to protect them. And then when they tell you about parenting classes, you say, no, all these classes, it is God that trained children. Who told you that rubbish in the first place? Who is quoting that nonsense? Which God trains with children? Why does God need a parent if he needs you in the picture? That means you're not useful. You are a co-creator. Co-creator means that is a creation part for you. And if you're going to create in the process of this whole God, then you will stand in the place of a God. You are a God unto your child. That's who you are. You are a creator. A creator. And you ask yourself, what skills have I built to help me to be able to create? Or you're still in the place where you're telling yourself, oh, God is going to help me. Oh, God, many times would say that, oh, God will help me. Oh, God will help me. Oh, God will help me. God has helped you. All of the help has finished. Parenting is your job, 100%. If God was going to parent for people, trust me, he loved David enough. David was going to become. He was David. He loved him so much. He could have parented for him. Eli, name them. Moses, name them. These were people who saw God eye to eye. He didn't parent for them. They failed as parents. They failed as parents. Do not fail as a parent in the name of so sorry. I needed to swap my network. Okay. So this is something that you must be very, very careful about. I don't know why. I don't know who I'm talking to, but if this message is for you, please take it. All right. So do you have a faith enough that no matter how many mistakes your child makes, that is going to be worth it learning from your guidance? Do you have faith that the skills you're acquiring is going to work? Do you believe your guidance will work even when difficulties show up? When children misbehave, it's usually because they are stuck. When misbehavior show up, it's usually because your child had no other way of letting you know that they are stuck. They're afraid, they are hurting, they're upset. So at this point, one of the things you should let your child know is that you believe that they can. In summary, you need to be kind. It really makes all the difference. So believe your child can do better. Number 3, build skills in your child. An unskilled child will frustrate you. An unskilled child will frustrate you. The more skilled your child is, the more easy it is for you as a parent. If your child is misbehaving, the problem usually most times is that your child does not have the skill to behave better. Ask yourself the question, does my child have enough skill to actually behave better than what it is that they are doing currently? There are some essential life skills your child will need, and these are very key skills for them to be able to behave better. The skills your child will need to thrive in the global economy is not taught in the classroom nor on the screen. They are taught in the home. Stand up and do the work. Some of these skills include focus, self-control, understanding another perspective, taking on challenges, critical thinking. Because when they make a mess, critical thinking takes place. Mistakes and messes are pillars on which your child will be successful as an adult. They are the pillars, which children who are successful will be built on. Mistakes prove that your child is thinking. If you want to learn more skills that your child will need to thrive in the 21st century, trust me, you need to get into an academy. You need to get into a parenting academy. It's no longer an option. It's no longer an emotional decision. It's a compulsory decision. Number 4, you need to work on your emotions and quit reactivity. The best way to work on your emotions at this point, trust me, is to begin the work actively. Begin the work actively. Join the No Yelling Challenge. Start from there. Start from where you are. Don't start from where it is that you're going. Where are you right now? What do I need to deal with right now? This is important. Number 5, you need to make out time for yourself. One of the things you need to understand is that when you don't make time for yourself, you will struggle because you are a base. You are the parent. You are a base. You are the parent. Make out time for yourself. Deal with it. So make sure that you are sane at every point in time. One of the reasons many parents yell is because they have not been able to critically work on what parenting should be or should look like. Most people don't know what it is. Most people don't even understand what they need to do. They just tell themselves, Is it not this parenting thing that is just, stressing me? You don't have the tools. That's why you're struggling. Ensure you're saying. If not, you just be one man. Sometimes I see parents screaming at their children. I see parents, trying to do. I'm like, why are you shouting like a mad person? Parents will tell me, it's not true. You must yell for your children to hear you. And you're not screaming. It doesn't your throat pain you? No, this is a sincere question. When you're yelling, as in, this thing I did now, I've lost my voice. Don't you have issues when you're straining that? Don't you have headache? I'm honestly asking. As in, you don't have headache when you scream like that. You're not having one high BP. As in, I don't know. If I scream like this 2 times, I will become ill. Do you know what you do to your body when you're yelling in that manner? Do you know? Do you know that when you stop yelling, you see somebody? I used to be a yeller myself. So see the way I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I'm cringing like I don't even know what it is. So imagine when you stop yelling. I don't know if there's any parent here. You were a yeller before. When you stop yelling, you come out of that yelling, place, and then you're seeing somebody who is yelling. You're wondering, hey, I used to be this mad. I saw somebody yelling when I stopped yelling many years ago. So I turned and I asked my husband. He says, how I used to do. It was a shocker. I couldn't believe my ears. Like, who is that? As in, you actually would be so quick to say, God forbid, I can never scream like this. This person is very mad. I've been there. Your chest will pain you. Your throat will pain you. Everything you'll be having so to every time you're screaming. You say the children want to kill me. No, you're killing yourself. You have blood pressure. You will, come on. When I know the tire. So when parents come to me and say, no, it's a lie. It's a lie. Yelling is a must. How do you even say that yelling is a must in parenting? How do you say that? Like you wake up and you say something like it's compulsory to yell if you're a parent. How does that? When I read those things on social media, I'm not joking. I almost come down with a fever. Yelling is compulsory, as in something that literally kills you. It's compulsory. How are you guys doing it? You guys must be superstars. Because this is holiday. I know parents have been shouting. One parent said, it's holiday, it's shouting time again. Why are you shouting because it's holiday? Why are you screaming because it's holiday? Pick or register for no yelling challenge. Which one is you must scream? What's that? It's only mad people that honestly, sometimes I'm wondering, what is the, somebody said after yelling, shame go they catch the person self. That's it. You'll be sick. Shame will be catching. You'll be asking yourself, why did I even scream like this? Many times I'm asking myself, this yelling self, what is the benefit? Some people say when I yell, my children just listen automatically. It's a lie. It is not true. It is not true. If you're a yeller, you're listening to me, find yourself in the no yelling challenge. This first fee ends on the 14th. That's a few days from now. 3 days from now. The next fee is 6,999, 5,999. The next one is 6,999. And until it gets to 9,999. Find yourself. There is no gain. None at all. Please register. The details for the no yelling challenge is right on my screen. Or you can use the link in description. Yelling has no benefit at all. I don't know how else to say it. Honestly, I was at the airport the other day. Parents screamed at the son. I got a fever. I'm not joking. I had to go and ask the parent. I just said, ma, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't. You can actually say this same thing differently. As in, this small thing I tried to demonstrate, my voice left me. This my voice that I use to give you people buzzwords. The yelling I've collected. So imagine that I'm yelling at home. How do I teach like this? How do I teach like this? And I'm yelling, oh, ah. I won't have voice now to teach. Hey, oh my God. You must have, you have to have a degree in shitology too. Now, you shitology to raise a child. How? Please. This is a good one. When I started getting knowledge, I realized that yelling is a product of emptiness. Ah, this is it. Yelling is a product. Yes, yelling is a product of not having any other thing to deliver. If you are yelling, just know that you lack communication. So over the weekend, I think is that this weekend or the next weekend, I'm not sure. We're teaching an exclusive inner circle masterclass on communication. We're going to, put it out there for people to come in and come and see a glimpse of what happens in the inner circle. We're going to be talking about, communication styles, understanding, solving family problems through effective communication. Or more, when I see the communication pattern that we have, I am almost in shock. I'm not lying to you. I'm almost in shock. And then imagine how much you yell at your child. This is you, effect on you. Imagine what happens to the child's brain. It's been proven that children who are constantly yelled at actually have, their brain begin to develop differently. Their brain begins to develop differently. And then it affects who they become. It affects, there's a lot of disadvantages of yelling. A lot. I think I'm going to teach that class. Disadvantages of yelling. For this no yelling challenge, we're bringing Celia Kibla, who is also a parent coach in the US and American. And Celia is going to be teaching on yelling, how to get toddlers to listen. Celia is called the toddler whisperer. How to get, toddlers to listen. And she's going to take this as one of the modules in the no yelling challenge. So if you've not registered for the all the people who are going to ask me, I have toddlers. How do you raise toddlers without yelling? I don't know I don't even understand that question. Please register for the no yelling challenge. Come and learn exactly what to do. Right? Yelling is a product of emptiness. You're empty. That's why you're yelling. You have nothing to offer. That's why you're yelling. You can't communicate. That's why you're yelling. The peace you experience after this course will shock you. All right, as we begin to round off, what are the things that increases difficult behaviors in your children? Inability to self-regulate. Many children can't self-regulate. That's why misbehaviors increase instead of being worked on. Now, self-regulation is part of how children learn self-regulation is by you, all right? Is by you working on your own regulation and teaching your children how to regulate it. If you were not at the emotional intelligence class, we taught how you can teach your children self-regulation for you and then for your children. Please, you can go, learn about it, get a replay, and then teach your children how to self-regulate. Number two, another thing that increases misbehavior is stress. Yes, people ask me, do children get stressed? That's the truth. The children also get stressed. I have seen many children who are stressed, as in stressed. Yes, stress from books, stress from different things. Number three, lack of habits that last and skills that transform. I have said this over and again that, when it comes to habits, I have seen quite a number of, parents, quite a number of children struggle because they do not have the skills to be able to do better. And when I run a coaching session most times, and I put the parents and I put things back to back, they see it. They see that it's because this child lack skills that will transform him and habits that will last. So you need to build skills. You need to build habits. Don't ask me how to build habits and skills. Please join the academy, very straight, and you will be fine. Number four, wrong parenting styles. Let me say this. Unpredictability. All right. Okay. Before we get there, wrong parenting styles. Okay. Wrong parenting styles. I've seen that a lot of us, put up a lot of parenting styles. You say, oh, that's how I am. That's who I am. You are constantly yelling. Misbehavior increases when you put wrong parenting styles. You have increased misbehavior. When you are always yelling, screaming, hitting your home is so agitated, your children misbehave more often, and you find out that there's a lot of struggle. So, wrong parenting style is a big deal. Okay, you want to learn more about parenting style? We have a guide called Parenting Style Guide. You can get it, and then you will learn more about it. Number 5, not understanding the child and developmental level. If you don't know who your child is, you don't know the developmental level of your child, you're going to struggle. Your child is going to be in a place where you don't even understand what is happening to your child. Just by understanding where your child is, you can solve the problem of misbehavior. All right. Number 6 is unpredictability. Unpredictability. Your child needs to know what you're capable of doing at any given time. Children thrive on routine and structure. Unpredictability is an enemy of your parenting journey. Unpredictability is an enemy of parenting journey. It is very, very key. Don't be unpredictable. When people tell me, all right, when people tell me that, oh, my children don't even know me, they don't understand who I am, I'm very unpredictable, they don't know what I'm going to do next, you are actually toeing the wrong route. When people tell me, oh, coach, you make parenting look as if I'm not even parenting at all. I'm sorry, but I just dig deep into what it is that we think we're doing right so that we can correct it in time. Unpredictability is an enemy of parenting. Let there be structures, let there be systems. Don't be unpredictable, my dear parent. Be predictable. Let your children know that if this happens, this is how you react. If that happens, this is what will happen. You're not trying to prove anything. You're not setting trap for your children. Stop it. Stop it in Nigerian land palace. That's the way they say it, right? Stop it. Stop setting trap. Stop telling yourself, hey, they don't even know what to do. Let them, I'm waiting for them. Let them just try it. They don't know. The other day, it was my slippers I used. This time around, they don't even know that I bought a different kind of cane. Who are you? Who are you again? A parent? You confuse your child. You make a mess of your systems. You become hypocritical, and your child ends up not learning because you have chosen the route of unpredictability. Please never become unpredictable. It's one of the worst things you want to do as a parent. Don't be unpredictable. This is very key, all right? For those of us who are constantly saying how, how you are very unpredictable and all of that. Recently, someone I know shared with me how she was struggling with anger. So she booked a one-on-one session so we can unravel where it's coming from. And it was coming from stress, it was coming from her relationship, and it was also coming from her childhood. As always, it was core in her childhood. She told me how their home was full of anger growing up. In her words, she said, I grew up in an anger-filled home. My mother was always angry about everything we did. My father was a sadist. He was always angry and shouting. We were never allowed to make mistakes. I realized that I get irritated anytime my children make mistakes. Many of you are on this table. I am constantly reacting the same way my parents would react. When I see children playing, it irritates me. I know people like that because we were never taught to play, but we were taught to be serious, to be our best at all times, to come first in class. I used to think that it made us better adults. But after I became a parent and I started reading your books, I realized that it made more of a mess than I can imagine. I am seeing myself creating the kind of home I was raised in, and I hated it. Coach, that's when I found you and I joined the academy. And I still hate it, but I couldn't help it. That's how I know I needed help. And that was how she got help. And the rest of the story A lot of this thing is history. A young man shared how he learned how emotional management skills as a child. In his words, he said, I saw my mother and father responding the same way when they are angry. So I don't know any other way to respond. I only respond calmly because that's what I saw. The interesting part of this conversation was that this parent was shocked. Her response was, somebody was saying, but you're talking about something that only happened 9 years ago. I'm talking about this parent I had a session with. She showed me how much many parents don't understand why childhood. This showed me how much parents don't understand why childhood is critical to human beings. Now, building our subconscious happens in childhood. And it's been proven in research and in psychology that about 90% of what we do come from our subconscious. Now, the subconscious is formed between 1 to 7 years of your childhood. Does that mean anything to you? Many of us enter our parenting relationship wounded from our childhood. And many times, these experiences make a mess of who we are and who we become. And we eventually project all of this onto our children. One of the biggest factors is our emotions. Mastering our emotions. Learning to overcome these wounds must be an intentional work. And the upcoming No Yelling Challenge in the academy will lead you to start working the healing of these experiences. All you need to do is to join this challenge by paying $4,999. Are you willing to unlearn, right, this process? This is very important. This is very key for you to actually deal with. Trust me, you will need this. Parenting is in the process. Parenting is in what it is that we do. Do not forget, if your child is drowning and you do not have the skills to take them out of the pool and save them, you will drown with your child. You need skills. You need systems. Parenting, just like every other thing that works in life, works on principles. You need to learn what to do. Please do not go saving your child out of their mess and then you end up making a mess of that process. Learn. Learn today. This is a low cost, challenge. You should be here even before anybody asks you to. It's a good place to start your journey. It's a good place for you to, throttle while you wait to join the academy on the 1st of December. The truth is, I envy many parents who are in the academy and their children are toddlers. I say this all the time. What your children can do, believe you me, even my children might not be able to get there. Because there are a lot of things you're learning that I myself didn't even learn 13 years ago. You have an advantage today to start your journey. If your children are already teenagers, please start. The only difference is that you're going to do the work. Do not forget. Now, you can get copies of our books from anywhere you are. I think there are copies here. Okay. From anywhere you are and get to buy. You can buy on Amazon if you're watching me outside of Nigeria. We have The Discipline That Works. We have Raising Independent Thinking Child. This is one of the sweetest books I've written. I don't know. Many people say, oh, coach, I don't even know which one to choose. But this, maybe because I spent more time writing it. Maybe because the teachings are so different. Maybe, I don't know. But honestly, this book blessed my own life as well. All right. You have How to Love Your Child More. All right. Amazing read as well. The Discipline That Works. Okay, these are books. This is Connect to Correct. This is Resolving Sibling Rivalry. And then I have a book called From Yelling to Calm. All right. So From Yelling to Calm was actually, part of what was adopted, the No Yelling Challenge and all of that. Okay. You can get copies of our books from our distributors. All right. We have distributors all over Nigeria. You can get from us directly. If you're outside of Nigeria, please buy your books on Amazon. You can also get these books, Building Your Marriage Plan, The Husband Manual. These are 2 books written by my husband as well. So you can get copies wherever you are. You're looking for books written by my husband, you can just put Kule Ologe on Amazon and you find it. All right, you're looking for my books, put Wendy Ologe and find it. I hope that this was worth your while. I look forward to having you write in the No Yelling Challenge, but please do not wait. Before I also forget, the Inner Circle program fee change is happening in few days. Please, I beg you, don't come back to us to say, oh, coach, I thought it was 70,000. I still want to pay 70,000. Book your slots now. The fee is going to change from 70,000 per year to 100,000 per year. We've been announcing so that we don't take you unawares. All right. The realities of things is very obvious. Okay. So but if you book now, you actually get to pay 70,000 naira before the fee change. We're announcing it because we really want you to get into and save 30,000 naira. But if you think that you really want to bless us with the extra 30,000, we'll be very grateful. We have a huge overhead cost. So, of course, we'll be very grateful for that. Okay. If you want to pay 100,000 and just say, oh, it's nothing, I know there are many people who can, and we pray that you can. If you can book for your siblings, your friends, do that. It will bless them a lot. If you're looking at somebody who just got married and the person is just starting, one of the best things you can do for them is to give them the gift of the inner circle. That's I'm quoting a parent in the inner circle. Calls it the gift of the inner circle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my one parenting coach and the last I ever need. Thank you so much, Esther. This is so heartwarming. Precious said, first time I'm hearing you say my husband is always the governor. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're right. Always a blessing to listen to you. So put right, in the comment section, what was your biggest takeaway today? Let me see you put in the comment section as we begin to close this class. Thank you. All right. Fee change does not affect inner circle parents. No, it doesn't. Fee change doesn't affect old inner circle parents. It doesn't. It only affects new intake. Fee change doesn't also affect people who have already booked a slot. No, it doesn't. Fee change will only affect people who have no slot. We currently have 600 plus parents who are on the waiting list. Most of them have completed their fee waiting for December 1st, 2023. Don't be found wanting in the inner circle this year. Don't be found wanting in the inner circle this year. Trust me, you don't want to be out. You want to be in. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Put your favorite quote in the comment section. And of course, do not forget to share this link with your family and your friends. Tell somebody to tell someone that there's a place where we learn how to parent. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is an academy where parents learn how to parent. See you at the No Yelling Challenge. Don't forget, take a screenshot, register, and we'll see you right in the academy. Have an amazing day, you all, and see you again on Tuesday, right in the cathedral. For parents in the inner circle, see you in the yard.